Hey, Russ. 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 He's not in here. Well, I don't know, where, the hood's not up. What? Russ! Hey, Russ!
Around here.
Around where? What? I thought you were gonna... Sorry, I thought you were gonna be working on the labeling wires and hoses and that kind of stuff today.
I am. First, Pearl's getting a bath.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Russ. I'm rebuilding a 1977 Mobile Traveler motorhome. This is all about the MT and me. Today on the MT and me, going to sort some wires and tubes out once again, some hoses, going to label everything for future reference. But first, you know, Pearl has only had one bath in her life since we got her, anyway. And that was shortly after we got her, which was over a year ago. So,
Killed the lichen.
yeah, right. Killed the lichen. We killed the lichen. We're going to have to do that again too this summer. But for now, I think we're just going to kind of get the grime off of her. It's not road grime, it's yard grime, because she's just been sitting here. But she's got a little film on her, stuff like that, so I think we'll give her a good bath today, get the outside cleaned up. Plus, it's an excellent excuse to use up this old container of detergent that you can see by the dirt and dust on it we haven't been using.
Hey, in my defense, I am kind of allergic to the fragrance.
Yeah, it smells profoundly, shall we say.
Well, it's not offensive. I mean, it's a nice scent. It
Yeah.
just breaks me out.
So anyway, when we finish, Pearl's going to smell like summer fiesta, or Fiesta del Verano, if you want to say it in proper language. But for us, it's a good excuse to use up the detergent, which means we get to put this beautiful #2 recyclable plastic bottle to another use. Nice color. So,
Yeah,
anyway.
which is why it was bought to begin with.
That's why we bought the detergent for the bottle. We sure didn't buy it for the scent by any means. Its cleaning qualities, I think it'll do just fine on Pearl. So, I'm going to start at the back on the top, get the rest of the top done, get the sides washed, and then we'll see about going inside and tracking down some wires again.
Cool.
Idea. I think it'll work. So Ree made a discovery in taking off the tail lights here. These tail lights are the original taillights. They were on the Dodge van that the MT used to build its entire structure on. So when MT got the van, they took the taillights off, put their body on, and then they went and put the taillights back on. Well, one issue though, these taillights mounted flat on the van. This part of the MT is angled in. So to compensate, they took a piece of wood, which I'm sure was a lot fresher in its day. This is now totally rotted. They put a piece of wood right across here and then mounted the taillights to it So the taillights would be vertical against this angle part. Just another little touch of ingenuity from the Mobile Traveler people. Another reason Pearl is such a pearl.
Or at least interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
I don't know if this was probably the best way of doing it myself. It kind of left a gap at the side, but
there probably was a better way, but it was the 1970s. Wood was cheap. Unlike now.
well, we're going to make new houses for the lights, so
Yeah.
it's all going to be good.
Good deal. While I'm up here, I think I'll go get some vinegar and go ahead and attack these areas where the lichen is trying to come back too. Most of that's up on the fiberglass overcab area. Okay, Pearl is clean again. Not spotless, but a lot cleaner than she was. I even got up and scrubbed some of the lichen off the front, so maybe that won't be growing back so rapidly. Before I go any further though, I want to correct myself. I said earlier that this was her second washing, that we had washed her shortly after we got her, and she hadn't had a bath since then. That is not true. Our grandnieces came over one day about 6 or 8 months ago and did a great job of washing her and scrubbing her down.
They did, didn't they? I'd
They
forgotten
did.
all about
They
that.
did indeed. I was washing the front of her, and it just suddenly dawned on me. I had that mental image of the three of them scrambling all over the front of her, trying to get her scrubbed down and everything.
Oh,
and
I have to find footage of that.
Yeah, so anyway, this is her third bath, all right, which is still pretty pitiful for a year and a half, but she is a pitiful pearl, so that's it. Anyway, now that she's clean and I'm soaking wet, I'm going to take a break, and then maybe we'll see about tracing down some wire and labeling it this afternoon, you know.
Hey,
First-
before we take a break, and this might be a really good time to mention it, did you happen to see that business card that Keith and Mandy left us?
You mean this one?
Ah,
That I
you
just happened to have in my hand? Why, yes, I'm looking at it now. It's the card of Keith and Mandy, otherwise known as Elder Eye Creations. two friends of ours that live nearby. They're artists, and they came by the other day and picked up the cedar that you saw our brother Two Boy drop off in the previous video. They're going to take it, do some laser engraving on it for us on a very special project that you're going to see some more about in a couple of weeks here on the MT and Me. In the meantime, I heartily recommend Elder Eye Creations. Check them out on Facebook, okay? Artists, they have some beautiful stuff, a lot of nice woodworking and other creations too, all right?
They do some amazing things with amazing materials.
They do, and they have these amazing red metal business cards.
Yes, and they are awesome boho.
This is so classy, that should tell you something about them right there, okay? Elder Eye Creations. Check them out.
Yeah.
So we want to thank Elder Eye for helping us out with our project. You'll see the results in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, if you'd like to see some of their work, go to their Facebook page, Elder Eye Creations. They do great custom work too. If you've got something specific in mind, go ahead and contact them. I guarantee you'll be more than pleased with the results. Okay, thanks again to Elder Eye Creations.
Especially if you like actual bohemian style.
Exactly. They're very boho. I like boho. So, and you why I like them so much. Well, I also like working on Pearl, and there's more to do. The next step, I think, is to get into the dashboard and remove unnecessary wiring. There's not a whole lot of it, at least I don't think there is. Obviously, the fuel pump wiring is not unnecessary. We're going to leave it just where it is. But there used to be a CB in Pearl. I want to get that power wiring out and get the frame off. And anything else I can find that is not necessary, we're going to get it out of there to reduce clutter. And then I'm going to start labeling some things. I have some colored tape and a brand new Sharpie. And we're going to go to work just marking stuff for my future reference as I continue working on Pearl. So, you're going to watch me do that, and then I'll kind of recap as to exactly what we've accomplished here.
Cool. While you're doing that, I am going to go inside, because you don't need me for that. Unless you do, in which case, just give me a yell.
I always need you, Ree, but you can go inside.
I'm going to go work on video.
All right,
okay?
good deal. All right.
Okay, cool.
So far, I isolated the CB wiring, and I got the CB mounting, which has all been out of shape, out. It's been out of shape because more than one knee has hit it, I believe. I imagine. Anyway, that wiring's isolated and to the side, slated for removal. This wire that I moved apparently goes to the blower assembly on the air conditioner. All I can figure is that it does have a fusible link in it, and it was inside the dash originally, so probably they had to replace that fuse or the link at one point. And so in order to make it easy to get to next time, They simply added an extra wire, that yellow wire you saw me messing with, and pulled it outside so that they could reach it. Well, I moved the yellow wire to another spot so it doesn't go across the fuse block, and you can still pull this out and get to it easily, but when it's working and not a problem, tuck it right back on top of that cowling opening, and it'll sit there beautifully out of sight and out of mind, unless of course the fuse blows. Now to go any further, I need a flashlight. I'm going to go get one, be back soon. Okay, got my flashlight, but before I go probing back into the dashboard, my loyal gnome Glenn was chatting with me here while I was inside with a little more information that actually applies to last week's video, where we tracked down the fuel pump on the back just outside the tank, attached to the switch here in the dashboard. Share me a little more information about that the fuel pump would not be used to boost the carburetor. He's of the opinion that they probably had a problem with the mechanical fuel pump that's on the engine, and rather than replacing it, they supplemented it with the electric fuel pump. And his recommendation now is, once we get to that point of actually getting a fuel supply functioning again, safest thing to do is to bypass the mechanical pump completely and run new rubber tubing all the way back from the tank and the electric pump back there, all the way forward to the carburetor, and just let that pump do the trick. And so that's probably what we'll try whenever we reach to that point. Of course, there's still a lot to be done. We've got to fit the carburetor onto the engine, we've got to get all the vacuum connections on that, throttle and everything else, all that linkage taken care of too. So this will be obviously in a future video, but at least we have a bit more of a plan and a lot better understanding of using the fuel pump in order to work with the carburetor. As he pointed out, adding an additional 6 to 7 or 8 pounds of pressure from the electric pump is not going to help the mechanical pump, which is producing ideally around 6, 7, 8 pounds of pressure at the most, something like that. The only purpose of the fuel pump, either electric or mechanical, when you're in a carbureted engine, is to keep the float chamber full in the carburetor. That's all it does. It doesn't provide any kind of pressure for the fuel itself. Now, if you're in the fuel injection situation, like most modern vehicles are, then that's a totally different animal. And you've got a high pressure pump. It actually uses that pressure to shoot fuel into the manifold and therefore into the cylinders. In a carbureted engine, that's not the case. It's the vacuum from the piston that actually sucks the fuel into the cylinder, and then it compresses it, and of course the spark plug fires it. But we're not here to talk about 4-stroke engines. Fact is, it's an electric pump. We'll hook it up, we'll get it running, and we'll see what happens with it, okay? But like Glenn suggested, new tubing completely, and just go ahead and bypass the mechanical pump for the time being and put it directly to the carburetor. So that's the route we'll take when we get to that point. At this point, I'm still tracing down wires and tubes inside the dashboard. So now I've got a flashlight so I can better see what I'm doing. Let's get back to it. Well, first thing I find out right off the bat, that yellow wire that I was messing with earlier, that goes to a red wire on the other side of a fusible link, and I said it apparently went to the AC fan assembly. No, it goes to something much more important than that, the radio. So that's the power wire for the radio. No wonder they were desperate to get the fuse replaced and get it working again. Although I think the air conditioner could probably elicit the same kind of response if it were to fail. But its wiring, I can see now with the light in here, is completely separate. Interestingly enough, there is a fuse in the AC circuit too. It's right here, another inline fuse. I find it interesting that in modern vehicles you have a fuse block and everything in the car that's fused is fused through that block. Well, this one has a fuse block right under here with, I don't know, maybe 6 glass cartridge fuses in it. But they obviously don't go to everything. Stuff like the AC, which, granted, is a semi-factory install here. It was still an option back in the day here in 1977 on vans and vehicles. The air conditioner was still quite optional. You could get them without it, so maybe that's why. But the fuse to it is not on the vehicle fuse block. It's separate. It's an inline fuse. So maybe that's their logic, in that since it is an optional add-on, then they're not going to build the fuse into the vehicle. Today, fuses are all there in one place, whether you use them or not. Just an interesting evolution of the automotive industry and electrical wiring in general. One thing that we'll be taking out and replacing: the good old cigarette lighter. I know there's still a few add-ons and appliances that have this kind of plug on them, and we could use it as an accessory plug, but I think in this day and age we'll be much more practical just installing some USB ports instead. Just about everything now can run off of USB. So we'll take this out and we'll replace it. As a matter of fact, I have an older portable AC converter that's got 2 AC plugs and USB ports on it that I just may connect to this instead if we can figure out a way to mount it into the dashboard. All that'll come later though. But it is one accessory that we won't be keeping. For now, I think I've got the tracing and labeling done in this central part. And over here there's really not anything at all except for the light to the glove box. And that's the wire to it right there. It's easy to find. So I think I'm at a point I can put this large central console unit back in place and secure it back so that it's not sitting here on top of the engine. Everything else I can do wiring wise is over here around the instrument cluster, so we can focus on it. So next step, getting the air conditioner back where it belongs.
Everything's gotten shifted. Okay, now I'm lined up again. Go that way. Straighten up, parallel. There you go.
Grab something.
Yep. you're good.
Huh.
Need anything else for a while?
No, I think so. I think I can take it from here. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, looks like the center console is back in place now, and hopefully nothing is pinched behind it. I think we've got everything worked out. Now it's time to shift our focus back over here to the instrument cluster area behind the steering wheel and see if there's anything else over there we need to trace down and label.
You're wiggling. I'm not seeing anything moving.
Nothing's moving, huh?
Oh, wait. There's something moving over here.
Oh, hang on here. Hang on. Well, I think I found it in here. Wait a minute. It's just wrapped around these other wires. Well, that was cunning. Here it is. Right here. It attaches to the fuse block. So now I know. I'm pretty sure, like I said, that was the power connection for the CB radio. And it comes directly off the fuse block. It terminates into another fuse connection right here, so it obviously went into a fused connector, fused wire connector that was on the back of the CB. CB's long gone. It disappeared with the carburetor and the air cleaner and the battery. So what have we learned? We found fusible links that go to the radio and to the air conditioner, at least to the fan assembly here. So we've got those, and those are labeled. We confirmed the rest of the wiring about what goes where. Most of it, like I said, is just coming out of bundles. It's factory wiring, and I'm really not going to disturb it unless I have to. I did find another mysterious fusible link right beside the fuse block. I'll investigate it later. I'll see if I can scope it out on the schematics that come in the service manual. We've got the rack for the CB radio removed. Looks kind of like it's been whacked on the knee a time or two by someone anyway. And we got the wiring for the CB pulled out, which, only two things. The power cable, well, the ground wire, it came loose. But the power cable, which is what I just tucked into the dashboard here, that goes directly to the fuse block. And the antenna lead, the antenna's been taken off and disconnected on the other end for a long time. It's all coiled up over here to right here. So the other end that went into the radio is now right here. It runs under the floor mat. So I'll actually have to take the floor mat out to remove it. I'll do that later because the mat's going to come up later on anyway. We got the center console back in place, and a double check reveals that I think all of the connections, the sliders and everything still work on it. We didn't pinch any of these cables here, and they still work. We didn't pinch the drain hose because we double checked it. So the condensation drain for the coils that are in here is also still completely hooked up. Should be ready to go. Assuming the AC works, I figure the compressor, certainly on the engine, has no charge on it whatsoever because I took the front coils off and there was absolutely no gas in that system. So one of these days I'll get it put back together. We'll see if we charge it up. Maybe it'll work. I'll frankly be amazed if it does. But Pearl has amazed me before. She's incredible how well she's held up after sitting unused and perfectly still for so long. So, anyway, that's the Dash story. We're going to dash out of here for this time around. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it each and every week, and you being a part of it. Remember, if you'd like to help with the Pearl Restoration Project, buy me a coffee. The link's down below, okay? And also subscribe if you haven't already. That'll help us out a whole lot. Give us your comments about this or any of the videos. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your opinions on what we're doing with this wonderful old Mobile Traveler motorhome. And maybe your opinion on anything else. My limited mechanical knowledge, for example. Just let me know what you think. I really would like to know. Give us a thumbs up, like and share this video. Join us again next week. Alright? That's it for this time around. I'm Russ. Ree has been in and out helping me. I appreciate that. We'll talk later. Now I get to clean up my mess. Maybe go inside where it's much cooler, because it's hot in here. Need to get this old girl's AC fixed quickly.